In our Fireside chats, we've reached Ephesians chapter 1, verse 15, which is a new section in the letter. And I'll read the verse and we'll start there. It says, "For this reason, ever since I heard about your faith in the Lord Jesus and your love for all the saints, I have not stopped giving thanks for you, remembering you in my prayers." So Paul goes from praise to God in the previous section to prayer. Actually, it's not that different, really, what he's doing, because in one sense, he was praying beforehand. Praise, Eugene Peterson says, is grateful celebration, obviously expressed towards God. So he's talking to God that way. And then prayer is talking to God about everything else. So it's not really that much of a change. It's just a change, I suppose, of the direction he's facing. Because there is a link in his mind between these two things anyway, when he says, "For this reason, I'm remembering you in my prayers." In other words, because God has done all these great things, wonderful things that are listed there in the first part of the chapter, he then turns to pray for others that they may experience them more fully, know about them, rejoice in them. We'll see that when we get down there. What it demonstrates is that when you have experienced God's grace for yourself, then it translates into an inevitable desire that others should know it more fully. It inevitably moves that you pray for others. And you can see that in several ways in the way that Paul expresses himself here in this verse, these two verses. He said, "I've heard about your faith in the Lord Jesus and your love for all the saints." So he sees that the pagan background they had has changed. They are now believers in the Lord Jesus. And one way it manifests itself is in love for the saints. He commends them for that. He's talking about sacrificial love. There'll be more details later in the letter. But it's love for those who share his faith. He calls them saints. There's nothing special in that word. Don't worry about it. The church. And from the way that some people live, you'd think that the church wasn't all that important, really. You know, I love the Lord Jesus, they say, but actually, yeah, the church, his people, a strange bunch. I'm not sure I get on with them, really. I'm not sure I really like them. Well, probably more than most, I have a good idea how imperfect the church is. And for a start, you've got me as a leader, so that indicates what the rest of the church is going to be like. But, the church, the saints, that organization is what God has given, imperfect though it is, to strengthen and to build each other up. And so Paul says, following that, he says, "I've not stopped giving thanks for you." That's the keynote of the way he thinks about them. And if you read his other letters to other churches, you'll see that thanksgiving is very frequently the thing he begins with when he thinks about the churches that he's served, that he's helped, that he's encountered. Is that how you think? When you look at others, is that how you respond? Do you care about them? And do you remember them? Because that's the way he puts it. "You have not stopped giving thanks for you, remembering you in my prayers." If you go back to the Old Testament, to the first book of Samuel, chapter 12, there the prophet Samuel actually says, "Far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord by failing to pray for you." That's his assessment of how important prayer actually is when it comes to think about God's people. So, if you have a prayer scheme, like a list, then use it. Just find a good way of remembering to pray for others who share in the faith with you, and to care for them. The practical aspects are obvious that we must do, but just think about praying. Are you going to remember them? And what you can pray, well, that comes next from verse 17. So we'll think about that tomorrow. But let's just take on board the fact that if you believe in the Lord Jesus, then love for his saints will be what you are like. You will love his other people and you will pray for them. So make yourself a cup of tea, sit down this morning for a rest, and just think about the others who share the journey with you, and remember to pray for them as you do so. And what you've got to pray for, we can come back tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow.